Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's really great to see you all. I'm very happy to see faces again, to meet people, to shake hands. And it's a great honor to me to be here because this really represents a great moment for me, for the project to be back again in person. And I just want to welcome you all to this conference again. I think it's a day of first times, right? So who's attending the Selenium conference for the first time? Oh, wow, that's more than half. And, I attended my first Selenium conference in 2017. And yeah, I was using Selenium every now and then. And it seemed interesting, but it was not like, okay, I'm really into this. But after attending the first conference, I really met the people who were doing similar things as the ones I was doing. I met the project committers, I met the different people who were around, and it was this sense of community, this sense of collaboration, this sense of being as a team that made me want to be part of this project. And it took me like some time to get into the project, but eventually I got to know everyone, I got to meet different people across the world, and I am very happy to be here representing the team. This is not just me, this is a whole group of people working on a daily basis, donating their time to make the testing community happy, to have some tool that is helpful for everyone, based on standards, and let's get started. One thing that is special for me to me is that this is the first time I do this keynote in person. I have done it virtually with Manoj before, but yeah, this is also the first time Latin America is standing here as a keynote presenter in this conference, so this is also a day of first times. Before jumping into the deep of the things that I want to share with you, the updates of the project, how things are working, I just want to acknowledge everyone else who is part of this team. So let me introduce them to you. First of all, we have all these people who have helped us to make this Selenium conference a reality. So we have folks who are volunteers, who are part of the Software Freedom Conservancy, and this is not all the group, like most of them are here. Some of them will be here as well in person. And if you want to meet them and thank them and be grateful to them, most of them are wearing like a green t-shirt. So if you need something from them, just reach out to them. Also, huge thanks to the local volunteers for helping us. Without you, we cannot really do this. And this is the first time I'm more involved with the conference organization, and you cannot believe how much work that is. So again, thank you to all these volunteers to make all this possible, and looking forward to keep doing this for all of you. Last but not least, like they say in Germany very often, I want to thank the speakers because they are donating their free time to prepare good material for you, good content, good teaching lessons, and without them, obviously, this couldn't happen at all. Obviously, without the sponsors, we couldn't do this. And when I was checking the intro, I noticed that I have a mistake in my slides. I'm missing 2 sponsors there, Case and Test Guild, so I want to thank them as well. And in short, I really want to thank all these companies who are trusting and supporting the project. And obviously, the community, because without them, we cannot do these things. They are working really hard to make the testing community and the testing industry much better for all of us. So I really recommend you to take a moment, say hi at their booths, and if you're watching this later in the video, take a moment and visit their websites. Maybe something's interesting for you. But day to day in the project, we also have people who are donating their time to make all this possible. One group is the Project Leadership Committee. They are actually helping us to move the project forward during their meetings and during their engagements with different activities outside. So they normally act as a bridge between the project, Selenium, and the Software Freedom Conservancy. So what is the SFC? The SFC is a non-profit organization that owns the Selenium rights. And that's one of the first things that I'd like you to take with you. We're a project that has no economical interest. Our interest is more to serve the community and help you all be successful in your automation efforts. The PLC gets involved in many different ways. So thanks to them, this conference is happening. And they also take care about community activities, helping us organize different events across the world, and also welcoming people like some scholars who are visiting us today, thanks to these programs. So yeah, this team has grown during the last year. It has doubled its size. And before that, we had Manoush and Marcus holding the fort for a long time with the help of Jim and others. And thanks to them, we were able to move forward. But then we saw the need of inviting more people from the community. So I'm very happy to see that we have 3 new members who have joined since the last Selenium conference. And we have Bill, who has been in the project, involved with it like for such a long time, even longer than me. And we also have Maret, who is someone who is super well known in the testing community. And Maret is helping us to understand better what the testing community needs, how the community behaves, and what possible projects we have for them to make them more involved into the Selenium project and how to move that forward. Also, we have Corina, who is here today, and she will do a talk later today or tomorrow, I don't remember exactly. But Corina is a person who works on a daily basis with Selenium, understands the project, understands how it works. And the cool thing is that we're getting insights from how the community behaves and how the project behaves through her. And this group of folks are helping us to understand better how we should move forward with this project. So thank you all for donating your free time to the project. We also have a group that is the Technical Leadership Committee. And yeah, to make it short, we work on defining what's coming up next for Selenium in the technical area. So we decide what features, what makes sense, what to deprecate, what to release in the next version, and so on. And each one of them has made such big contributions to the project in different aspects. So for example, we have Jim, who has architected the .NET bindings, but not only that, like several opinions across the project that has helped us to shape a better architecture for you all. And we also have Titus, who has been for many years with the project, and I haven't met someone who has more knowledge about testing than him. And thanks to him, we're able to push the project through these couple of tough years where we were like having less committers, less contributors, and he has helped us to move the project at the same time in the different bindings and also leading initiatives and so on. We also have Pooja, who is joining us since I think 2 years ago or a bit more. And Pooja is helping us with the Java bindings and also leading important things like the WebDriver BiDi implementation in Selenium. And yeah, a short parenthesis, Pooja sadly is not here today because she happily became a mom recently, so we want to send her huge, warm regards, and we're very happy for her. So I hope to see you in the next Selenium conference or whatever, whenever that is possible. We also have Sri. This is one of the great stories in the team because Sri started helping us with the documentation, just finding typos, finding errors in the docs, like something was not working. And then he got more interested into the code, little by little, and helping with the JavaScript bindings. And today, he's part of the committee, but also he's maintaining the JavaScript bindings. So this is the clear invitation that anyone can start slowly, little by little, to be part of the team. We have David, who has deep experience with browsers, great knowledge about how they work, and is helping us to maintain the Python bindings and helping us to drive forward the effort of the WebDriver BiDi standard that I will mention in a moment. And there's me, that I'm here. I help with the Java bindings and whatever a hand is needed. So also, if you need a hand at any point with Selenium, I'm at the Slack channel most of the time, so you can reach out to me as well. And we have Alex. who is most of the time maintaining the Ruby bindings, keeping them in great shape. But most lately, he's spending a lot of time in making our build system much better, so new people who want to contribute have a better experience in the project. We meet publicly every 2 weeks on Slack, so if you wonder what the project is doing, what the next features are, just join the Slack channel and you will see how we all collaborate together. But this is not enough. Like, we have a large group of people who are continuously donating their time to make our project better. So we have a governance model that specifies how you can contribute, and these people have took a bit of their time to go through it, and they're helping us to make these things better. So they help answering questions in different chats and in GitHub issues and sometimes in Stack Overflow, and they help from the documentation to the Java bindings, to the Python bindings, to the Docker Selenium images. So a huge effort. So for example, we have Ian, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, maintaining the documentation in simplified Chinese. We also have Bonnie helping us with the Selenium manager since a while, and also here or there with the Java bindings documentation. We also have Luis, who is in Portugal, helping us to maintain the Portuguese version of the documentation. And we have Kyoto, who is helping us to maintain the Japanese version of the documentation as well. Pallavi, who is very active in the Slack channel and also is helping us to improve the documentation every time that Pallavi has time. And then we also have Kristen, who is impressive all the things he has done for the project. He replies in Google Groups, helps with pull requests in the Java code, replies to questions in GitHub issues. It's impressive. I don't know how he finds the time to help us, so thank you very much. So we have James as well, and it was very nice the way he came into the project to help us because, for example, who has one of these new MacBooks M1 and tried to use the Docker Selenium images and they didn't work for you, right? Different architecture. And he got one and he said, okay, let's see what it takes to make this work. And thanks to his collaboration, we have this project that works now on the new architecture that many people have. We have Tamsil, who is also helping us everywhere, like in Ruby bindings, in JavaScript, Python, I think, as well. And basically, he's helping us to put the bits of WebDriver BiDi in Selenium already. So big thanks to him. We have Todd that I haven't met him, but maybe he's here today. Are you here, Todd? Well, I'll meet him later. But Todd has been leading the effort of making the Selenium IDE a browser extension to a standalone application, an Electron application, so you can actually get more benefits from the Selenium IDE. He's working together with Robert. Is Robert here? Maybe not. But they are both working to make this project much better. So they are donating their free time. Todd had a baby recently, and he's spending so much time to help us in all this. We have Simon, who is helping us with the Python bindings as well. He works, he spends his time in the PyTest project as well. So tremendous amount of help there. And yeah, we also have people that we don't know their face. So we have like Jörg. I know that Jörg is in Germany, but not much more about Jörg. And the thing is that he has helped well, I'm saying he, I think he's a guy because we had a chat sometime, but don't know. But the point is, yeah, today I cannot assume. The point is that there are things in the Java code that Jörg has helped us to improve that we never got the time for it, and somehow they spend time to improve these things. So for example, the new Java 11 HTTP client was an initiative that Jörg started, but then Simon finished it, and things have come from like nowhere, and this is the beauty of the project, that out of nowhere we get contributions, and this just pushes the project forward. We also have, I forget all the names, so Nikolai, helping us with the .NET bindings whenever we need a hand, whenever we have doubts. And also Andre, helping us with the Java bindings as well. Dimitri, who's helping us with different things in JavaScript every now and then. And we also have Michael, who's helping us with the Python bindings, checking that everything works well, giving opinions, feedbacks, and also pull requests every now and then. One of the interesting things is that some of these folks actually maintain frameworks. And we're going to talk about frameworks in a moment. Now, starting to get into the topic of the keynote, one of the things that you will find in common is that we're all working in the open. And this is a privilege, but it's also a commitment to the community to deliver something with quality. And in the few years of being with the project, I've found two things to be very important between others, and is to have some degree of success, right? You need to have some context. You need to understand what's the current situation of the project or whatever you want to improve. So you need to understand what has been done, where are we moving forward, and based on that, you can actually propose improvements, right? But to be even more successful, you really need to collaborate, to work together, to help each other, and move forward as a team, as a single unit. So let's start by you allowing me to give you some context. One of the main questions that are out there, and that we have it very clear, but most of the community members don't have it clear, is like, what is Selenium, right? What we always intended it to be. So if you go to the Selenium website, you will see that it says Selenium is a browser automation tool, right? That's it. It's not a framework. And we have never intended it to be a framework. And we're okay with that. We're comfortable with that. And that's why whenever someone asks for a new weight strategy, for a new expected condition, we say that we're not going to include that because that type of thing belongs to a framework. So yeah, we're a low-level library. We're a platform for you. And you can put everything you want on top for the needs you have, for the use case you have. And with that, that's how you can be successful in test automation or scraping or whatever you want to do with the tool, right? Because, yeah, we're a library. So we don't compete with frameworks. We collaborate with them. We work with them to make everyone much better. I know personally, I think that we have failed to share that view more openly, more clearly, but we're proving that starting today. I know that it has been a few tough years, the last 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. And the thing is that with the world events, we have seen that there is a bigger need to be digital, right? Like all the companies somehow need to be digital. And this is demanding more and better testing. And that need, that situation has brought the need to have more tools out there to do things that were not possible before. This is all for the testing community and for the industry. And I think that's great. That's great that we have more tools, because that means a couple of things. One thing is that testing is now getting more and more relevant than before. People want to deliver things that are useful, that work well, and that the experience that the user gets in the end is pleasant, right? So people want to test more in a better way. And also, having more tools means that competition is there. And that's how you get better, by competing with others, learning what the other has, what is the other one doing better, and trying to find ways to improve yourself. So all this is really good. Through tough situations is how we get better. And we're still there. Like, we're very current, we're very much alive, like we're very much being used everywhere in the world. And let me share with you some facts about that. Since the last conference, we have started to measure in the best way we can. It's not really easy, but we have seen that every quarter we see that the downloads of the Selenium bindings are getting up. So 25% we see in general every quarter. For example, if you go to Stack Overflow and you post a question related to Selenium, yeah, 98.5% of the time you get an answer. And that's pretty good because you see that it's a solid community, helping each other, figuring out how to move forward together as a team, as a unit. We collaborate. And if you think about when you want to reach out to the project and to contact us, then you post, for example, an issue. We normally take about 1 day to respond to you, and we try to solve it for you in about 2 days. If we don't solve it, we send you to a place that can get you answers, which might be Stack Overflow. If you want to contribute to us, if you want to collaborate, you can send us a pull request, right? And nowadays, we're usually replying in less than 1 day. And most of the time, we either accept or reject your contribution in less than 3 days. So this is a clear sign that this is a healthy project that listens to their users and accepts feedback continuously. But another interesting thing that not so many people pay attention to open source projects is the contributors' diversity. So if you go and check in the Selenium top 20 contributors across projects, you will see that 74% of them donate their free time to the project. And only just a handful, like less than 4 people, actually work for companies that pay them to work and donate and make Selenium better. So that's key when you want to compare projects, when you want to compare tools, because this project is open and no one is going to govern it in a way that has driving that to personal interests or to company interests. One thing that is also getting better, I was checking the numbers last week, and is that every year we're getting 20% more contributors. This is good because people are still paying attention to the project. People are wanting to contribute to the project. But yeah, we have to get better to keep those contributors because they come, they stay for us for a few months, and then they leave. So we have to get better there. Right, so we're like really widely used, we're popular, but when you go out there, you check like blog posts, you check like LinkedIn, Twitter, all that, there is a difference in the perception and the reality. Like somehow, Selenium is not cool, Selenium is not the latest tool, it's unstable, all that. And yeah, there is a difference between what you see in the numbers and what you perceive out there. And there are different reasons for that. So one of them is that, yeah, testing is really, really hard. Controlling a browser in a clean way, so like simulating what a user does, not using like JavaScript workarounds or like going through DevTools and trying to figure out how to do things for you instead of like doing it in a clean way. Doing things in a nice and proper way, it's hard. Also, websites have evolved a lot. And when you see the current frameworks, the current web frameworks, they also have evolved a lot because now they offer you so many options to do testing in a different way. Like you check React, right? And then you have options to do API testing to the back end of the application. And then you see that you can actually do component testing instead of doing everything on Selenium. And then maybe you need just a few tests that open a browser, right? So this is also bringing you complexity that you have to figure out, okay, what do I use for testing? And that's the reason why sometimes you see tools that offer everything for you, and some people go that way. Other people decide to have better adjusted and customized approaches in their testing. So testing is hard. It's not an easy thing, and you should be really proud to be in this industry that not many people dare to join. But that's not really an excuse. I mean, that's the context, right? We see things, we see areas that we need to improve as a project. And one of them is, for example, the configuration. Like when you want to start using Selenium, you need to get the browser driver, you need to get Chrome driver and Gecko driver, and if there is a new version of Chrome, then you need to look for the binary and all that. So that's that's not ideal, right? Another common challenge is synchronization, right? Like figuring out when the website loads, if the button is there, if the element is there. All those things are a challenge. Also, we need to get better into shouting into the social media and the community what we're doing better, what we're doing to improve for you. And also, we need to get better into keeping the new contributors. So let me share with you a story. I don't know if many of you know it, but this is a story that happened some years ago. So there is this person, this guy, Jason, and he created Selenium. And yeah, in a conference showing off what Selenium does, and this was the tool for testing. So this was the only project out there that was like a viable option for several people. Some year later, this other guy came around and said, you know, I can do it better. I have a better approach than you. So they were competing tools. Selenium and WebDriver were competing tools in a test automation industry. Who did know that? Only a few people, right? And that's why it's important to have the context. They were competing tools. I don't know if they couldn't see each other, or I don't know what the relationship was, but they were competing. A couple of years passed by, and what happened? Instead of keep fighting, instead of keeping discussing, they decided to work together and to bring together a tool that is now what we have today as Selenium WebDriver. But you know, some people say that history repeats itself, right? So years after, sometimes we see similar situations. And the thing that I would like you to take with you today is that this is a challenge today. And how do we overcome challenges? How did we overcome the challenge? By collaborating. So let's jump into punctual solutions we're providing for all of you. Configuration. One step forward we have made in this topic is to build Selenium Manager. Who has never heard of Selenium Manager before this conference? Well, like 30% could be. That is a clear sign that we need to be louder, right? We need to share more what we're doing. And I will not give a lot of details because Bonnie is around here, and Bonnie will give a talk about Selenium Manager. But the idea is that you don't need to care more about your local setup. You don't need to download Chrome driver. You don't need to download that. Just delete everything you have around that, and we will do the work for you. In the near future, we hope to complete the second phase of Selenium Manager, which is also download the browser for you. And that would give Selenium a unique space, a unique position to have a tool that you just install the dependency and everything will work for you. But yeah, Bonnie will give you more insights into that tool later in the conference. What we're trying to achieve with this type of decisions is to have less friction when you want to get started. Like, you just install something and you get something running and you focus on automation, not on getting the tool working. Yeah, we all want that button, right? Like testing and then you press sync and everything works. Yeah, but the thing is that, as I was mentioning, testing is hard. So you need to figure out how to wait for your page to load, how to do like, and this is different for every website, right? Like you have an application that actually loads, but maybe there is something loading in a component and you need to wait for that and so on. Sometimes you need to use proxies to control the network and block requests and maybe filter some type of resources that are coming your way to just make your test more stable. So this translates that many people have built a lot of code that needs to be maintained, that maybe it's not ideal in some cases, and that also adds on to the reputation of the tool. So normally you have two options. One is to either do everything from scratch on your own, right? And that's sometimes something you need to question yourself. Like if you were like a developer that want to build an application, a website, would you just start using JavaScript from scratch and maybe plug in jQuery to do some nice things and build everything from scratch? Or would you use maybe a tool that is more suited for that, like, I don't know, like Vue, React, that brings you so many things out of the box that you need then to customize and make it better for you. So that's one option, to just do things from scratch. And it depends on your level of expertise, right? The other option is, well, use something that works already. And this doesn't mean that you have to like pick the whole solution. Maybe you can find a few plugins that help you to do better logging or better weights. But sometimes you just want a solution that works right away from the box. Because the point of doing automation is to bring value to your company, to your team, and make you happy through the process of doing that. And that's why we are starting to talk often recently and more in the future about the WebDriver ecosystem. But maybe you want more context and understand what the WebDriver ecosystem is. So let me walk you through as best as I can, as I am not, the experts are here, but I will try to do my best. So yeah, we have a low layer that is called the specification, and this is W3 specification, right? It says how a click should happen, how find element should happen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of hard work has been placed into that specification to define how things work in the different browsers. Then you get to implement that, right? Part of that implementation is in what we know as Chrome driver, Gecko driver, et cetera, Safari driver, and so on. But also, we have a very popular implementation that is called Selenium. So Selenium is an implementation of this standard, right? And that is a tool for automation that you can plug things, make your life easier, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a bunch of things that you can use to make your life easier. Like, do you like JavaScript? You have Nightwatch there. You like to do mobile testing? Go check the Appium project. You like robot framework? Then there is a Selenium library that helps you to do all the things you want to do in the robot framework. Do you like Ruby? Why don't you check Water? It's a really nice project that brings you assertions, different ways of locating elements, and so on. If you like Python, why don't you check Selenium Base? You will see a talk about that in this conference. It has so many features that maybe what you want in a framework is something that just works. So have a look at that. Maybe you are just interested in something that helps you weighting better. So Corina has a library that helps you to weight better for elements. If you're into Java and you want something that simplifies your test, that helps you do location and automatic healing and more, you have Selenite. So there are many things out there that can help you out. If you're into .NET, then you can check Atata. That is a framework that also helps you to do the same. And if you're just interested in logging, maybe you check Titus library that is done for that. So what I'm trying to share with you is that there are so many tools out there that will help you get successful much faster than just using raw Selenium. And we're going to start being more clear about that, because that's what we want you to be, successful in automation. And you know, many people have asked, like, why is not Selenium having a test runner, like a simplified method, auto-healing, auto-weighting? Because it's there. It's already there for you. It has been proved. Many people are using these tools, so we recommend that you have a look at them, compare them, and maybe find the one that you want. But I'm talking about, you know, Selenium is the most popular implementation. But there is another one, like you have WebDriver IO. It's an implementation of the WebDriver specification. It's not part of the Selenium project, but we are in the same family because we are under the WebDriver ecosystem. We work together. The maintainers give us feedback about different things. We collaborate. Like we're now, for example, talking how to figure out for them to use Selenium Manager, because this is a tool for the community. On top of that, you have things like Serenity.js, which also wraps so many different things. It can wrap Selenium, it can wrap WebDriver IO, and many other tools out there. So if you're into BiDi, maybe check that as well. But it doesn't stop there. Like if you go and you like PHP, you can check the bindings for PHP. that is an implementation of the WebDriver specification in PHP. It's not part of the Selenium project, but it's out there, and we collaborate them as much as possible. And you know, funny enough, they also have an ecosystem where they have tools like Laravel Dusk and Panther, which are full-fledged testing frameworks for PHP. So all these solutions are out there, and these are frameworks. So these are better ways to go against this challenge of synchronization, using tools that have the experience and the knowledge that help you overcome that. But that's not the end. I don't know if you have heard about the WebDriver BiDirectional specification. Who has not heard of that? Oh, cool. I mean, so we are somewhat aware of that. When I joined the project and I was reading through the specification, I didn't really get what it was doing. And one of the cool things that we're doing in the bidirectional one is that we're writing down the use cases for us to understand better, because I don't really get all the jargon that goes below the hood. So today I am bringing you just 5 use cases of the WebDriver specification. One of them is browser logging, right? We all want to see what is happening in the console, what is happening sometimes when there is an application error, and we want to get access to those logs so we can do actually more assertions and more checks in the application. A huge common request is to get performance, measured performance, get the hard file, because I want to assert how the website is doing, if something's loading late or too early, or whatever you want to assert. So this is a use case in WebDriver BiDirectional. Yeah, sometimes you want to check how the DOM changes. So maybe you don't want to do like an iteration of a wait. Maybe you don't want to wait until things change for you continuously by, I don't know, like having a wait method. Maybe you can just tell WebDriver BiDi, let me know when this changes, give me a message when that is working. And that is possible because the name, bidirectional, helps you to send a message, and the browser can talk back to you when things are ready. We also have something that is mock responses, right? So many people are talking about how can I do API testing? How can I do like things around mocking my responses? So this is not explicitly support for API testing, of course, but it's for you a way to mock the backend, to avoid the need of like deploying the whole infrastructure with microservices. Maybe you can just record some traffic and play it back with the help of the responses that you can mock in WebDriver BiDi. And the last one is the authentication. Yeah, it's nice when you can just like send the credentials in the test and then things just work out of the box for you. But to do that, we're like working closely with the browser vendors. So there are members of the Selenium team who meet on a monthly basis with the browser vendors. So there is like a Zoom meeting that happens on a Wednesday every month. And then you have like David, you have Simon, you have Jim, that sit with the different people from Mozilla, from Apple, from Microsoft, from, which one am I missing? Google. Yeah. So we sit together and we think about how to put those use cases into work. So that's the key there. There is collaboration between the industry and the community. So we get feedback, we show them what the people are saying, and we also get feedback into the things that they're implementing, and we try to implement them back in Selenium. But yeah, thinking about the use cases I was sharing a moment ago, you will say something like, yeah, but Diego, like, we can do that with CDP already, right? Like, what's the need of having this BiDi thing? But then I give you the question back, like, does it work in all browsers? Like, does it work at least in Firefox? All the use cases perfectly? Does it work in Safari? No, right? And the thing is that CDP is not a protocol that is a standard, and then it was made for debugging. It was made to get low-level responses from the browser. It's not made for testing, and that makes the protocol very, very heavy, right? It's very, very hard to digest all the things you get back from it. But don't let be me the one who tells you that. Let the Chrome DevTools team to tell you that. They are saying that WebDriver BiDi is the future of test automation. And this is a specific example of collaboration because they are defining that as, it's a browser protocol that you can use to test across different browsers. It's not WebDriver, it's an evolution of WebDriver, and it's not Chrome DevTools. So then they got the answer, they got the question right away. So, hey, does that mean that Puppeteer will be deprecated? Will it disappear? And the answer is no. It will start using WebDriver BiDi. So now Puppeteer that will be used for cross-browser automation. And that's the goal. We don't want to fight or compete with other tools. We want to collaborate with them. And if they base their work on standards, we are there with them to support them all along the way. Moving forward, we want to help the community help us back. And we have been there for over a decade. And when you Google things like Selenium tutorial or, things about Selenium, you get so many results, so many things out there. And this shows that people are producing content. People are teaching others how to be successful with Selenium. But sadly, we haven't had the time to create a program for them so they can actually show off their content, their experience. And we want to acknowledge them, and we want to take a step forward by creating this type of ambassador program, and we're defining the name. We announced this actually in the previous conference, but we had to prepare a conference for you. So now we're actually taking a step on that and being more serious about that idea. So we want to enable folks who want to teach others and share content about Selenium to do it in a great and successful way. And we're also working on some set of events. Remote is here to stay, right? So we want to do some virtual events when that is possible. We also want to do some regional events to get you together and see each other's faces, to share experiences and be together as part of a community. And there has been some talks about Selenium 5. And this is the first major release that we're going to work together, both on the project side and the technical side. So we're going to have a clear community effort. We're going to have a clear stand of what Selenium is and what people should use it for, right? We're going to enable and empower the community to do their ambassador work and to help us promote things in social media and in different places and in conferences and so on. And we're going to have a new IDE that Todd is working on, and it's already available, but it will be more official when Selenium 5 comes out. We're going to do the documentation again. Corina is helping us with that. And we also, we're going to have a new project look where we are going to send our message in a more clear way of what Selenium is and how you can use it to be successful. So the main message we want to send as a project is that through collaboration is how we're going to get through all these testing challenges. So yeah, Selenium is not a framework. Selenium is a library or a platform. I don't know what term you would like to use. And I just want to highlight again that we work with frameworks. We don't compete them. We want to make them better. And as I was mentioning before, several people of the ones who are contributing to Selenium already maintain frameworks. So we're all starting to build slowly this ecosystem of people who work together for test automation. And yeah, because we strongly believe that that's the only way we can make testing better and testing better for you, our community. So if you're interested to join us, there are very simple ways. You can go and check our GitHub issues, answer questions, go to Stack Overflow and help people to get their answers. You can also check our website and help us to translate and help us with the documentation. We can code together. You can go to Slack and talk to us, and we'll help you to get forward into your coding challenges and to your coding efforts. But yeah, if you want to make the Selenium voice and the WebDriver ecosystem voice louder, please go ahead, do talks, write blog posts, and do everything you can to make us much more successful. And of course, if you find bugs, let us know and report them in a proper way so we can reproduce the issue. With that, I just want to really, really thank you all for being here, and I want to invite you to enjoy the conference and take this opportunity to meet people like-minded with similar purposes, with similar goals, and take the time also to meet the committers, to talk to them so you get a better look at what the project does, of who we are, what we think about testing. Don't be shy, ask anything you want. If you want to ask about other tools, other approaches, we're here for you. We're open, our ears are open for you to whatever you want to share with us. Feedback is what makes us much better. So yeah, have fun, enjoy the conference. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting the project we all love.